Hello YouTubers, you're back here with Chevron, and we're going to be going over the latest reveals that have happened in the past couple of days for the new set coming out, Eternity Code. And this set is been proven to be a very insane set with a lot of strong cards coming out. So let's get straight to it. I don't want to be spending too much time talking over each certain card because there's a lot to go through. So first up, we have a new Archetype coming out, which is NEMESIS. And for the people who haven't read over these NEMESIS cards yet, you really want to, because these cards are bloody insane. So first up, we have Arch Nemesis Protoss. It's a Dark Worm, Special Summon Effect Monster, level 11, 2500 attack, 3000 defense. Cannot be normal summon or set. Must be first special summon from your hand by banishing 3 monsters with different attributes from your graveyard or face up on the field. So you can do both, and you can only use this card's name's second effect once per turn. This card cannot be destroyed by card effects, and then you can declare one attribute among the attributes of the monsters on the field. Destroy all monsters on the field that with that declared attribute. Also, neither player can special summon monsters with the declared attribute until the end of the next turn. So essentially, you can block your opponent out from playing any cards for their whole next turn. So you playing against Dark, you hit Dark, they pretty much have to give up their whole turn. This is really directed at like Orcust, your Dragon Links, even against Salads. If you can hit this card against Salads, you pretty much cripple them for a whole turn. And not only that, the way you bring this card out, just by banishing 3 cards with different attributes, straight away, a lot of people have looked over it and called it as well. I reckon this card's going to be insane with Crusadia OTK. Being able to push for another big monster on the field, even just sitting this card under the equal max for just guaranteed pushing for that OTK. And if the OTK fails, you block your opponent out from being able to play their deck, and then just make it come back to your turn and just finish them off on the second attempt of killing them. So very powerful card. You can see this card revive a lot of old decks, or just give power to current decks that are just rogue tier at the moment, aka Crusadia or any deck like that. So very strong card, and let's just keep going. And as you can see, this also comes into effect with the other card that we announced on the other reveal, which was Arch Nemesis Stratos, which also is a really powerful card as well. So I don't want to go over it again, but let's just keep going. We have Nemesis Flag, Fire Pyro effect. You can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. So it's level 2, 1100 attack, 200 defense. You can target one of your banished monsters, except Nemesis Flag. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, shuffle that target into the deck. During the main phase, you can add 1 Nemesis monster from your deck to hand, except Nemesis Flag. So both of your Arch Nemesis banishes from your grave or field to be able to bring themselves out, and all the little guys shuffle them back to summon themselves. So it's kind of a reverse situation. Usually you use your little guys to bring out your big guys, but your big guys actually help bring out your little guys. So very reverse situation for this Archetype. So you have Nemesis Umbrella, Water Aqua effect monster, level 3, 1500 attack, 400 defense. You can use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. You can target one of your banished monsters except Nemesis Umbrella. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, shuffle that target in the deck. So all the little guys seem to have the same first effect in that case. So you can target one of your Nemesis monsters in your graveyard except Nemesis Umbrella and add it to your hand. So pretty good adding effects so far with these monsters. So you have Nemesis Corridor. So it's a Wind Thunder effect monster, level 4, 1900 attack, 600 defense. You can use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each, and if you can target one of your banished monsters, so it's the same one except itself, special summon this target and shuffle that banish back to your deck. And you can target one of your banished Nemesis monsters except for Corridor and add it to your hand. So this deck can pretty much add from your grave, banish, and your deck to hand. So pretty good. And another big thing that I've seen for this card, and I'm pretty hyped for, is this is actually indirect support for your Thunder Dragon decks, because I am fairly certain the first effect to special summon them out is a reveal from hand. So you're using a Thunder effect from hand to bring him out, and you can just go straight into Thunder Dragon Colossus. Big issue with this card, you can now, if I'm right with the special summon being a reveal, you can now splash Thunder Dragon Colossus in any deck that can run Nemesis Corridor and that banishes. So you can use Orcust. Not really. So sorry, for Orcust, it's going to be a pretty weird way of using it. because you got to banish without using an Orcust effect, because that will lock you into dark. But if you can have a very good way to banish in Orcust without having to lock yourself in the dark, you can just use this card to return the banish, special summon itself out, and then you can sit on it and you make your Orcust play first. And because Thunder Dragon Colossus is a dark type, you're not restricted from being able to summon it to end your board. So on top of your Orcust board, you can actually end it on a Thunder Dragon Colossus as well. So really strong for that. A lot of decks that banish will be able to just splash this card in the main deck and just run Thunder Dragon Colossus to bring him out just by summoning this guy. So very crazy. And you give your Thunder Dragon to your opponent will have to attack or destroy your Thunder Dragon twice to actually get rid of it, because it is a Thunder monster, so your Thunder Dragon Colossus will be able to banish this card to save itself. So very good interaction there. Does it put Thunder Dragons in range to be hit? Don't know. A lot of people assume it's going to get a soft hit as well as all the other meta decks, and I pretty much think that's what's going to be like for the January ban list as well. Just soft hits everywhere. So we have Nemesis Arastia. It's a quick spell quick play. You can activate one card with this card's name per turn. Target one of your Nemesis monsters that is currently banished or in your grave. Special summon it. But if the special summon monster's original level is 11 or higher, it cannot activate its effects this turn. So first big restriction for the deck, you're not going to be able to bring your big guys out then use their crazy effects that they have, but you can bring the little guys out and probably get an ad, because it's level 11 or higher, so you can bring out the level 4 or the little guy that adds from deck and bring out your big guy that way. So very cool interaction with the Nemesis. They could be a very fun archetype to play on their own, but I reckon they're going to hit their big peak when it comes to splashing this tech in other decks. Definitely see Arch Nemesis Protoss being splashed for OTK decks or just control variant decks that have multiple attributes among the deck. First thing that comes to mind is Altergeist, but it really comes down to if they can just dump enough monsters to bring him out. I'm just really just going over decks that have different attributes that could possibly play this card that can come in effect. So yeah, very good archetype overall. Probably going to be a crazy splash, especially Nemesis Corridor. I see this card being abused for the Thunder Dragon drop on the board, and it's just going to be mental. But let's keep going to the other cards that have been revealed. So we have Gizmic Inari, the Grain Storage Fox. So more Gizmic cards to be appearing in this set. Gizmic has been proven to be a strong cards in general, especially Gizmic Orochi that we currently have. That has been a very strong card for like Orcust and your bomber plays. Just being able to pop cards as well just by banishing 3 cards from your extra deck has been great for people who've been running this card. But let's get straight onto this one. So it's a level 7 Earth Machine effect monster, 2250 for both attack and defense. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. If a monster is special summoned from the deck, you can special summon this card from your hand. So it's not stating your opponent. You can special summon this card by special summoning a monster from your own deck as well. So a very good extender there. If this card is normal special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, special summon one monster from your hand or deck with the same attribute as that target monster, and whose attack and defense are the same as each other. Each time your opponent normal or special summon monsters, inflict 300 damage to your opponent. So it's got a pretty good burn aspect with it. It can really stop your very combo heavy decks from just going autopilot, opening their big board without having to take so much damage. They'll probably have to try and deal with this card along the way of making their combo, just stop themselves from taking too much effect monster. And so little flavor text, this card's name derives its name from Tima and Inari, the gods of agriculture and rice respectively. So Inari is also heavily associated with foxes. The two are also commonly associated with each other. If you don't understand the second effect, it's meant to let you target, or say, a dark monster and special summon Gizmic Orochi, we believe. So with this card, the first thing that comes to mind that could be a problem with running this guy is it has to match the attribute. So yes, bring out Gizmic Orochi out for free could be a big deal, but that requires your opponent from running a dark type. So being able to mainboard this card to use its second effect is not really much of a go. It's more like just running into the meta, you know, just with the dark spam. Maybe it could be a good side tech for the decks that run Gizmek, but the burn, it can come in there, especially when a lot of games go to time. You can just cheat out your win by just burning your opponent, like bring this guy out first and making your opponent have to go through the burn to be able to play anything. So overall, I don't see this card being used as much as the other Gizmeks. I believe the other Gizmeks that have been shown are just so much stronger. But with that, let's keep going. So more Evil Eye support. This is Evil Eye Manifestation. So quick little flavor here. If you ever thought of yourself, I don't have enough monsters to make my links, I wish Evil Eye had a Hornet Drones. So it's a normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. Special summon one familiar of the Evil Eye token, Dark Fiend level 1, 400 attack, 400 defense, or up to 2 instead if Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell and trap zone. Also, for the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except fiend monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard this turn. Evil Eye spells and traps you control cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effects. So with the banish, the fact it's not quick speed can make a big difference, because you really, with cards with this effect, you really want them to be quick speed so that you can make interruption play on your opponent's turn. I don't think the second part of this effect is going to be too much. Maybe trying to shotgun it so it can force out your opponents to use their effects so that you can play the rest of your turn out for more free. But apart from that, don't really see the second effect being so big. But the first effect for this card can really help Evil Eye being able to go into their link guys and just making just a stronger board state in general. So very decent support for the Archetype. I'm pretty sure all the Evil Eye players out there are going to be happy just to see more support. So we're seeing a fair few support for the more recent Archetypes. Here we have Dragon Maid, Chaim. Dragon Maids get a card to search their spells and traps and clean the innermost part of the house. So it's a level 4 Dark Dragon effect monster, 500 attack, 1800 defense. You can use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add one Dragon Maid spell or trap card from your deck to the hand. At the start of the battle phase, you can return this card to the hand, and if you use special summon one level 7 or higher Dragon Maid monster from your hand or graveyard. So this is actually really big for Dragon Maids, being able to add their spells and traps from deck to hand just off normal or special summoning, and then going into the start of the battle phase, returning it to bring your big Dragon Maids out as well. So yeah, it could be pretty good support for the Dragon Maid Archetype. Would make them a lot more consistent, being able to search their spells out on just right after the bat. I don't think it really brings them more into the meta, but really does make them more consistent and probably make your opponent have to think more when it comes to versing Dragon Maids. But again, good support. It's good to see support for your more recent decks as well, because we've had a lot of old, support for older decks, and Konami's pretty much decided we need some more love for the more recent decks as well. And here we have Dragon Maid Chaim. So speaking of supports for the more recent archetypes of the game, we have Witchcrafter Demonstration. So if you wish these girls, if you wish you had these girls' confidence, doesn't really say much there, but we're gonna definitely find out what it means by that. So it's a quick play spell card. You can only use one effect of this card's names per turn, and only once that turn. So special summon one Witchcrafter monster from your hand, and if you do, for the rest of this turn, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to your spellcaster monster's effect activations. That is actually really big for Witchcrafters. Being able to freely use their Witchcrafter effects, this stops a lot. This stops counter traps from being able to negate their monster effects. Any like monster boards that can negate monster effects as well. You can get around Apollo because of this card now, and it is a quick play, so you can use it on your opponent's turn and then follow up with your crazy Witchcrafter abilities that they all have. And during your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster and this card's in your graveyard, you can add this card in your hand. Self-add, really crazy, really good effect. So we can definitely be seeing this card to be doing a lot of work for your Witchcrafter players out there. And yeah, even I think this card's going to be insane. Very good support for the Witchcrafter archetype. This is pretty much what they needed to be able to freely just play around with their board. So yeah, I believe a lot of Witchcrafter players out there are going to love this card. I certainly, just seeing this card makes me want to try the deck, honestly. It just seems pretty nuts. So yeah, let's just move on from this card and keep going to the many cards we're about to see. So this last part is a fairly big list, but has pretty crazy card that has sparked a lot of talk in it. And with that, let's just get straight to it. So this is the remaining Eternity Code cards. Little splash flavor here. Ever wondered where Longrusu went? So, you Orcust players out there, you're gonna love it when we get to the card. So we have Madochi Salon. It's a continuous spell. You can only use this card's names second effect once per turn. While this card is in your spell and trap, you can normal summon one Madochi monster during your main phase in addition to your normal summon. So that is really big for Madochi players. You can only gain this effect once per turn. Fair. If a Madochi card is returned from your hand, from your field or graveyard to your hand or main deck by a card effect, you can set one Madochi spell or trap directly from your deck. So that is actually very big consistency support for Madochi. Madochi can already top as it is, so this is really good support for them, and you could really pretty much say you can see Madochi a lot more with this card. People feeling more confident to bring Madochi to big events. The big reason why you don't see many people on this archetype, it is very hard to get. They were short printed. They've only been they haven't really been reprinted at all, so all the cards are hard to get. But with this support, maybe we can be seeing reprint for all their good cards in later sets, so that newer players have a chance to play this archetype. But at the moment, it is very hard to get into Madochi without spending a bit of money. So next up, we have Witchcraft Patronos. So another Witchcraft card. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. You can target one of your spellcaster monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, special summon it into your deck. If you do, add one Witchcrafter spell from your deck to your hand. That is really big for Witchcrafter as well. Being able to add the other card we revealed straight from deck to hand is really big, or any card you need at the time. If this card is in your graveyard, except for the turn it was sent there, you can banish it, then target any number of your banished Witchcrafter spells with different names and add them to your hand. So another good support for Witchcrafter. Just great to see cards like this. Maybe it will just add more diversity to the meta, just giving all the love to other archetypes except for your current big ones, and just giving them more chance to fight back. So another card here, we have Trias Herachia. It's a light fairy effect, level 9, 1900 attack, 2900 defense. You can only use this card's effect once per turn. If a card is in your hand or graveyard during either player's turn, even player's main phase quick effect, you can tribute up to 3 fairy monsters, special summon this card, but banish it if it leaves the field. In addition, apply one or more of the effects based on how many monsters you had tributed. So up to 3 fairy monsters, so 2 or more, destroy 1 card your opponent controls. 3, draw 2 cards. So apply 1 or more, so you possibly can get both of the effects, which is pretty good. I don't see where it would get played. Fairies are very old cards now. A lot of the archetypes for the fairies are slower decks, so maybe this card can make the decks more playable, but I don't see them being any more competitive at this point. So next up, we have Magical Hound. So Earth Machine, tuner effect, level 1. So we have another possibility of opening those Nat Beasts. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one face-up spell trap your opponent controls and return it to their hand. If you do special summon this card, instantly Floodgate Hate can help you revive back from those floodgates that get dropped in front of you, or just any face-up continuous they currently have, just to bring this guy out. So it's from your hand or graveyard, so it's great when you mill this card. You can turbo into nappies or make link up plays, so very good card there for your synchro decks as well. And with the new Master Revision just around the corner, this card can possibly be seeing a lot more play. So next we have Gorky, Iron Claw, Earth Warrior effect, level 2, 1000 attack, 0 defense. You can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. From the start of the damage step until the start of the damage calculation. When a Goki monster you control is battling an opponent's monster, you can send this card from your hand to graveyard. Your battling monster gains 500 attack and becomes unaffected by opponent's card effects. These changes last until the end of this turn. If this card is sent from field to graveyard, you can add one Goki card from your deck to hand, except Goki Iron Claw. So you can link up this card and get an add of any Goki card. So the add being there is really good for Gokis. The being able to discard to pump and make it unaffected by opponent's monster cards is also very big. You can stop your opponent from, say, using the Borlo Dragon Take and just other cards out there that have pretty crazy effects in damage just by battling. So it gives you Goki cards more protection that way, which is really good. So next up we have Mech Knight Orcust Gisu. So this is the card that's pretty much sparked the most talk among all media. Very crazy support for Orcust, and I'll read it out to you, and if you're pretty much going to get straight away why this card is just insane. It's a Dark Machine effect, level 4, 1800 attack, 0 defense. You can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Orcust card or World Legacy card from your deck to the grave. Also, if there are two or more other cards in this card's column, this card becomes treated as a tuner for the rest of the turn. Has Orcust in its name, and it can also be a tuner for a synchro summon. Orcust being in its name is the very big factor. For the second effect, if you control no other monsters, you can special summon one World Legacy token, and then to each side of the field. This gives you protection from impermanence. It literally forces your opponent from having to use impermanence on this card. So you just freely protect the rest of your turn against impermanence. It also stops your opponent from being able to evenly match you to cheat out your board that way, because they can no longer activate directly from their hand, which is going to be very big. So a lot of crazy things happening on this card, and it is a one card Galatea without having to banish any Orcust card yet, because what you can do is turn the token you bring off this card into Link Spider, and then use Link Spider and this card to make Galatea. Very crazy support. With Orcust being so strong as it is, and they get a support like this, there's probably going to be a decent hit to them on the generated ban list, or maybe April. But if Orcust doesn't get a big enough hit, this card can really abuse pure Orcust and make the deck so much harder than it already is to battle out. So moving on, we have Heavy Ford, a spell continuous. You can activate one card with its name's effect per turn. When this card is activated, you can add one Affinity Track monster from your deck to hand. Once per turn, you can target one Machine XYZ monster you control, activate one of these effects, changes battle position, or attach this card to it as a material. The attaching itself after getting its add as a material is really big. It gives you Infinity Track monsters more effects, and then you just add any Infinity Track monster you want from your deck to hand on its own. Really good support for Infinity Track. So next up we have Cataclysm Chris Chillbrain. Decent name. Water Fairy effect, level 8. So another fairy support, 2600 attack, 200 defense. If a face-up water monster you control is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, then send one random card from your opponent's hand to the grave. That is actually fairly good support for Mermouse, being able to pick more cards from your opponent's hand. So it is a fairy, but it very much interacts with the water decks. You can use it in Marincess as well. So by battle opponent's card effect. So there's a lot of situations where you can run this card. So Mermail players out there, you just got a fairly insane support with this card. It has decent stats, high attack. You can guard yourself from a lot of damage, as well as pinching a random card from your opponent's hand. You can hit a key card off this. It really will force your opponent to think, does he have Chillbrain in hand? Am I going to have to play around it? So puts mind games thoughts on your opponent, as well as just being a very strong card on top of that. So we have another Thunder Dragon card. So this is the first, actually, not another, we have more Thunder Dragon support, which is Thunder Dragon Sky Rumble. It's a light thunder special summon effect monster. It's level 9, 3000 attack, 2000 defense. You cannot be normal or summoned or set. Must be first special summon from your hand by banishing one level 8 or lower thunder monster from your hand or face up from your field during the turn a thunder monster's effect was activated in hand. So condition of getting him out is fairly easy. Also, you banish the thunder monster from your field, so you also get the banish effect from that thunder monster that you use on top of this. Once per turn during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish 2 cards from your graveyard, including a thunder monster, then target one thunder monster you control. It cannot be targeted by opponent's card effects for the rest of his turn, so this adds a lot more protection for your Colossus, for Titan. They can already protect themselves from being destroyed by battle or card effects, and then on top of that, they're very weak to being targeted banish. So this card just adds that little bit more protection to your Thunder Dragon fusion monsters, so it makes it a lot more difficult for your opponent to remove them that way. So very good support for Thunder Dragons. It does cover some weaknesses of the deck. Once per turn during your end phase, you can send one Thunder Dragon card from your deck to the graveyard. So again, another good effect, you can send Thunder Dragon Fusion to be able to banish it on the next turn to get another add, or just send a Thunder Dragon in general, just a monster, to add just more cards to be banished, so you'll have more resources to banish off your fusions to save from protection destructions, and then have enough Thunder Dragon monsters to be able to banish off this guy's effect to add to the protection of your Thunder Dragon monsters. So very good support there, very good to see Thunder Dragons get support as well. So we have Nocto Vision Dragon. It's a Dark Dragon effect, level 7, 0 attack, 2800 defense. If a Dark Dragon monster is special summoned to your field, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard as a link material, draw 1 card. That's very good. You pretty much just special summon this card out for free in Dragon Link decks or Thunder Dragon combo, and then on top of that, you just draw a card just for using it as a link material. So very good with that. When an opponent's card or effect that targets a face down card you control is activated, quick effect, you can banish this card from your grave, negate that effect, and if you do, your opponent cannot target that card with effects for the rest of this turn while it remains face down. So you can give your back row that you want to protect in your Dark Dragon decks more protection. Say if you even your main boarding Super Poly and they try to shotgun Cosmic Cyclone, you banish it to protect it. That is very good. Gives you more like a strategic play, being able to play around with your opponent's board and hand, and just get that extra. So not only it's a very good turbo card to make up your combo, it gives you protection on your back row, which is great. So next up we have Titanocider, I think it is. Trap normal. You can use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. Target one face up monster your opponent controls that will special summon from the extra deck. Its attack becomes 0, and if it does, negate its effect. So we're seeing some Lost Wind vibes here. If your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck while this card is already in your graveyard, except the turn this card was sent there, you can set this card to your field. First thing that comes in mind, it doesn't have the banish restriction after setting off its own effect like Lost Wind has. So this is infinite negates against decks that special summon from the extra deck, which is fairly insane. Other than that, so you're putting the attack to 0 and then negating its effect. The drawback it has to Lost Wind, the special summon must happen from the extra deck, but it doesn't have the drawback Lost Wind has, which is the banish. So they both have their ups and downs, but I think Titanocider has the stronger benefit of being able to use it infinite amount of times against your extra deck summon, just like any deck that summons from the extra deck frequently. So we can be seeing this card to be such a very high side target for your control style decks against your lot of combo decks that are out there. So next up we have Pinpoint Dash, another trap normal. You can activate 1 card with this card's names per turn. Each player selects 1 card from their own face down extra deck and reveal it if they are the same card. So Fusion, Synchro, XYZ, or Link. send the opponent's card to the graveyard and special summon your card. Then if the cards were of the same original attribute and type, your opponent loses life points equal to the card's attack. If they were not the same card type, send your card to the graveyard and your opponent special summons their card. This is just a fairly troll card. I don't know where you play this card. It's a very big gamble. I don't know what else to say about this card. It just seems like such a gamble card out there. You have to match to be able to get your monster. If you don't match, your opponent gets theirs. Yep, fairly big troll. Wait, so next up we have another NEMESIS support. NEMESIS Great Bubble Reef. So it's a water cyburst link effect, attack 2800. It's a link for 2+ water monsters. You can only use the third effect of this card's name once per turn. So once per turn during the standby phase, you can banish one water monster from your graveyard or face up field, draw one card. So that is very good, just to be able to get the free draw there. Each time a monster is banished, this card gains 800 attack until the end of turn, so it becomes 3200 in the combat phase, as well as being able to get that draw on top of that. So during the standby phase, you can get a draw off your opponent's turn as well. So send one water monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon one of your banished NEMESIS monsters. So you can banish a key piece and then be able to get its special summon back as well, which is great. So we have Landscraper Goldilocks, Earth Machine effect, level 10, 0 attack, 3000 defense. If this card is normal special summon, destroy it unless it is in the center of the main monster zone. So it gains 3000 attack while it's in the center of the main monster zone. Once per turn, you can choose one of your unused main monster zones, move this card to that zone, then destroy all other cards in the column this card was in. The column is now and all columns in between. So a very good destruction effect. It will destroy itself when you use it as well. Being able to bring I don't know how you would bring this card out. It is level 10 normal special summon. I'm pretty sure machines have a lot of ways to special summon this guy out. Level 10 allows you to make the rank 10 plays on top of that. So trains out there, good train support, but you have to special summon it. I believe trains actually have a way to bring this out fairly easy. Having a destroy effect on top of that, maybe we can be seeing a lot more trains OTK. So next up we have horror I don't know. Generator Boss of Rumbling. So Dark Spellcaster effect, level 9, 3000 attack and defense. You can use this card's name's third effect once per turn. You can only control one of the Generator Boss of Rumbling. Once per turn, if your opponent adds cards from their deck to hand outside of the draw phase, you can activate this effect. Your opponent must send one monster they control or have in their hand to the graveyard. So I'm assuming they have to reveal to show that they have no monsters from their hand to send, or they have to maybe they have to reveal to make sure they have no monsters to send. If they don't, I actually don't know how that's going to work out, but being able to pinch a monster if your opponent tries to add can be fairly big. Not so much against decks that like to have monsters in their grave, so very iffy as well against the current meta decks, but could be devastating against decks that need those combo pieces in hand. So when a card or effect is activated, a quick effect you contribute to generator monsters or spellcasters monsters, negate that activation if you do destroy it. So it has just a blanket negate for a card or effect, so that is very big there. So we have Goki Guts, more Goki supports. So it's an Earth Warrior effect, level 1, 800 attack. You can only use this card's names 1 and 2 effects once per turn each. If this card is in defense, it cannot be destroyed by battle. So it can be fairly annoying. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. All Goki monsters you control gain 200 attack. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, add one Goki card from your deck to hand. So again, has that same add effect as a lot of your Goki monsters have, and then it can be used as a set to, if your hand's not strong, to be able to try and delay the turn and survive for the next one. So overall, just more support for Goki. That is the last card of this list. This was a very long, I think this was a fairly long video for a reveal, but there were so many cards to cover. Very powerful cards in this set coming out. as well as so we already have a set that's not far from to us that comes out this month, which is Ignition Assault. Has Lightning Storm, which is a very big blowout card, can either be Regeki or Harpy's Feather Duster. And then we have support in that set for the current meta decks. Then we have more support for current meta decks in this set, so maybe we can expect to see the current decks we have to be staying around for another year. Maybe Orcust, Salman Great, Thunder Dragon, maybe they could be surviving for another year. Probably not tier 1 if they hit it. They could be sitting around the tier 2 mark. But because of the amount of support they're getting, I can definitely see them lasting for a bit longer in the meta. And like Sky Strikers, come on, Sky Strikers lasted for 3 years now. So why not let other decks and people enjoy their decks for that they're currently playing for a bit longer as well. And with that, I need to wrap this up. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please consider supporting me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel. And you guys will definitely be seeing me next time. See you guys.